Okay, so negative equity, let's explain, is if these people in the dark blue areas in particular had to sell tomorrow, they would get less for their house than what they owe to the bank.
Yeah, you'd still owe the bank if you tried to sell. And that's a big deal.
So these people can't sell right now. They've got to hope that they can keep the mortgage going, because if they sell, they're effectively going broke.
Well, yeah, they have no way out. They're mortgage prisoners. They're prisoners in their property.
So who's most vulnerable?
First-time buyers who bought in the last year or so, property investors who bought at the peak or close to the peak, particularly if they've got interest-only loans and if they've got multiple properties.
So what you're saying is just because you've bought into a wealthy suburb doesn't make you immune from the fall in house prices and this problem of negative equity if you have to sell.
Correct.
Okay, so this is Sydney where the prices have fallen the fastest over the past 2 years. Which are the crisis areas here?
So I'm seeing Campbelltown, I'm seeing Liverpool, I'm seeing up and around Ryde, the Hills area, Blacktown, those sorts of areas around there. As you come in and across the city, even some of the eastern suburb areas also. So these darker areas are where the highest number of people with negative equity live. Right, and so they're perhaps the areas you'd expect over in Western Sydney, from Hills, from Balcombe Hills around there to Mount Druitt. We've got
so where many of the new housing developments have taken place.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of the households here have bought in the last year to 18 months. They bought at the top of the market. Prices have slid. In some cases, they're already down 20%. In many cases, they got a mortgage at 90% or even 95% in some cases if they're an investor, and essentially they're now underwater.
What about Melbourne, where house prices are also falling?
Yeah, so Melbourne's interesting because, of course, prices were accelerating more recently than in Sydney, but now the falls are actually getting more momentum to them. A lot of people who bought relatively recently, quite often with mortgages of 80, 90%, and now prices have started to slide, so around the Beaconsfield area over to the east, or around Werribee, also some up north of Melbourne as well. This is going to go on and on. Prices are not going to rebound anytime soon, right? So we are on a downward journey and we haven't yet got to that destination. I think it's 18 months, 2 years, maybe 3 years. And remember, in the UK and in Ireland, 10 years later, after the GFC, people were still in negative equity. So this is a long-term problem we've got.
Hello, I'm Liz Hayes. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.